that kind of land also ought to be expropriated. Lastly, we also have 3 further regulations that we would like to be introduced. The first one is on the issue of farms. We want a regulation which will state that a percentage of all farms in the country there needs to be a regulation that states that if there are 50 farms, for example, in the country, the entire country, not more than 20 of that can be owned by your previously advantaged people. So the point is that there needs to be a limit in terms of the amount of productive land that your previously disadvantaged can own. And with that, there also needs to be a stipulation that states that with the amount of productive land that there is, a certain portion must go to women and a certain portion must be owned by young people. And the state needs to put in place measures to ensure that that productive land that is expropriated for women, for young people, they need to be given the adequate funding, training, etc., etc.
Thank you. Your time starts now, Ma.
Hello. Hello, my name is Judy Mbong. I represent the Black Farmers Association of South Africa. We fully support the land appropriation without compensation. Our land was possessed from us without any compensation whatsoever. This happened when Jan van Riebeeck arrived here in 1652 with 3 ships. They took our land illegally. It continued again when the 1820 settlers arrived. Our people and our chiefs died in the wars fighting for their beloved land. Our people and chiefs died fighting for their beloved land. Now, we ask the government, to appeal to the government to take this matter as a matter of urgency, because it has been long overdue.
Thank you, Ma. Your time starts now. Give her the mic. Give her the mic. Talk to the mic here.
About the Constitution, Section 25 of the Constitution must be amended. Igama lam ndiyolanda Gebenga, ndinguhlali waseKhayelitsha. Yo, hayi sonele thina uhlala la nhlalo sihlala ila ndawo ehlala kuyo. Uhamba nje uphefumula iTB ngoba lokucinene sibaninzi. Okwesibini, abantu aba ngabo abaya bathatha umhlaba wethu apha. Mabasinike nathi sizoba nee-securities njengabo ngoba kufanele khanisikezeni umhlaba wethu ubuyele kuthi sithi abanikazi babo nawuthatha nina siyanibona futhi sinijongile siyawufuna ke uze kuthi.
Enkosi. Ma, your time starts now.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Hazel Siyaya. I'm representing the KwaNdabeni Communal Property Trust. I do support the amendment of the Section 25 of the Constitution. The reason why, in 2001, if you see Windfield was given to us as our claim, but up to now, there's no development. We sum up by saying we were given the land by mistake. It's 17 years without any development. The government is Why does the government not intervene and find out what is happening to the land that was given to the people of Ndabeni, who were dispossessed of their land forcefully? They were crying with their babies, being pushed to Langa. What is the government doing? Nothing. It's 17 years. Up to now, our land, I think it's a prime land. Really, we were given it by mistake. Now it's full with squatters. And there is a law here in Western Cape. If you remove people who invaded your land, you must move them somewhere. So that is a private land, but we can't evict those people who are staying there. So I'm supporting Section 25 fully, hoping that they will adhere to our cry as they go under the communal property trust.
Thank you, Mark. Your time starts now, sir.
My name is Harry May. I'm from Surplus People Project, and I work for an NGO that works on agrarian transformation and land reform. So, SPP supports expropriation without compensation if it will achieve agrarian transformation for food sovereignty. And with that, we mean that the land is redistributed to landless and working poor in urban and rural areas, and that it's addressing the fundamentals of the capitalist system. This will not only change power relations in terms of property, but will make a fundamental contribution to food sovereignty of the poor, landless and working class people in urban and rural areas. It will also address the fundamentals of the capitalist dealing with the issue of private property. So where should we start? So I've heard now lots of discussion about the state land, but let's start with the more than 70% of farmland that's owned by white farmers and by corporations. So we should start there. And then secondly, we should also look at land owned by the state. So if land is not made available, and there's different spheres of the state, for instance, communist land. So if it's not made available to poor people, then that land should be expropriated. I think it's also fundamental that we should clearly deal with the aspect of what is meant by equitable. It's not defined in the Constitution or even in the Motlanthe report. But for us, what it should be based on are the needs of poor and landless people. The issue of land cannot just be limited to farmland, but also need to address residential land, urban land, informal settlement, access to the cities. So the issue of communist land. So there's been lots of communist land in this province, for instance, communist land in Stellenbosch, where white farmers got long-term leases to the land, and in public land, for us, if the contracts are not cancelled, those lands should be expropriated and given to poor people. What are the land that should be expropriated? We can go first for the KIL, Farm Worker Equity Scheme. Even from the Department of Rural Development, it is clear that those things are failures because it still treats farm workers as slaves. So those should be first in line to be expropriated. Then in terms of the other work that we've done, especially on the west coast of South Africa, the committee also need to look at Section 25, the cut-off date for restitution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amanda! Amanda! Awethu! Amanda! Ngithetha noChristopher wamkisi. Mina ndimele umhlaba ukuthi mawubuyele ebantwini babo. Isitsho nesizathu. Abantu abamnyama abanawo umhlaba. The black people don't have land. I'm telling you now. The black people don't have land. We must bring back the land back to the owner. The land belongs only to the white minority people here in South Africa. So the white minority must appeal to us to bring back the land. Otherwise, Jesus gonna beat it. You don't bring it up. If you don't want to agree with us, Jesus gonna beat it. We are here to say today, bring back the land. Amanda, I don't want to go far because I'm talking the truth. The truth is not long, it's shorter. If you are lying, you are talking long. Amanda, viva yapa viva, kumhlaba, mabuye. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good morning.
Oh, shh.
Good morning.
No, before you start. No. Before you start, can we allow for the speakers to be heard, please? And I'll remind you, the intention is to influence the report that Parliament is going to write. Influence us because we are not coming back to the Western Cape. It's better you tell us what you want and what you don't want so that we can consider your opinions. Ma'am, your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My name is Patricia Crawley. I'm from the Democratic Alliance. We do not support the change of the Constitution. Let me just tell you why. We believe that Section 25, with all its clauses, are adequate. We firmly believe that the Bill of Rights in South Africa is one of the world's best Bill of Rights. And the only problem is, and certainly within the Constitution, there is land reform. But what has happened? It hasn't been implemented. That is the problem. We don't have to change the Constitution. We have to change the government. That is what the whole problem is. We support land reform. We believe people should get compensated. They should be compensated for their land. And we certainly believe that every South African should have an opportunity to own their own land, to farm it, to work on it, or to live it. That is the most important thing, and that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi Chair, my name is Jacob Prins. Ek's 'n Wes-Kaapenaar, soos my voorvaders vir 300 jaar voor my, wat later in die 1600s aangekom het. Ek praat Afrikaans en vir 300 jaar het my familie in die Wes-Kaap geboer en gewerk. Toe hulle aangekom het, het hulle niemand gekry behalwe die koei en die son. I'll switch to English. When my forefathers came here, they found no one except the koi and the sand all the way up to the Fish River and all the way up to the Orange River on the border of our country. I just wanted to state that. And my grandfather was an orphan that grew up in Ceres. He had no mother and father. They died at his young age. But through hard work and determination, he left properties to his children. And I say that because that's how my people work. We work hard, and that's how we get where we are today and what we own. I'd like to refer to a few great men in our history. There was a man called General Hertzog. He fought very hard for our people, but also for the black people of this country. He said, in his opinion, the survival of white people in South Africa can only be guaranteed if the rights of black people are respected. He said this before, or in 1911, before the Land Act that was put in place in 1913. It cost him his position in the cabinet for saying that. Now, my people got what they have in this country today, not by theft, not by genocide, but by fair means. There's records in our archives in this country of thousands of cattle and sheep being traded for land, but not just that. Tribes asked us for assistance in many different ways, but one of the main ways was protection from bigger and other tribes. We had a stabilizing effect on South Africa when our people got here. When the Afrikaner got here and they started moving into the land. Andries Pretorius puts on record that they found sack towns, masses of slaughtered animals, and tribes eating their own children because of the state they were living in persecution of the bigger tribes in South Africa. Example of that is the Gloobies that fled from between the Buffalo and the Tugela River to the Harry Smith area, where they suffered so much they had to turn to cannibalism to survive. Now, furthermore, Chief Mpande of the Zulus traded land with the British as well as the Afrikaner on a few occasions. Cetshwayo, Chief Cetshwayo of the Zulus, whose son was then a Zulu, was being hunted by Sipepu, and he was hidden on a farm by birds.
Your time has expired. Can we allow the speaker to be heard? Your time starts now, sir.
My name is Harold Peterson. I represent Finsa, first indigenous nation of Southern Africa, and all the tribal houses of the Khoisan in the Western Cape, Eastern Cape, Northwest Cape, North Cape, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Namibia. And therefore, as an elder, I demand respect as I speak. I demand respect. Be silent, please. Today is a day that I want to say Article 25 of the Constitution cannot be discussed or cannot be reviewed or amended or anything done to it without representatives of the first indigenous nation of Southern Africa, of whom the majority are densely populated in the Western Cape and Cape Town. And therefore, I say we need to look at the historical background of the Khoisan people, of whom the Cape Colored are represented here, and we are 32 to 43% Khoisan. They are our forefathers and our ancestors. The historical background, the rock art, research, bones by researchers, scientists, archaeologists, speaks about the title deeds of the land as the original people, the Khoisan. The Khoisan have been found here for thousands and thousands of years before any tribes came into this land. We know a few hundred years ago, according to research, and it cannot be denied, it's a historical fact, that tribes came in to Southern Africa and settled along the eastern side of South Africa, namely KwaZulu, Natal, and the Eastern Cape. Warring, violent, destructive, fighting tribes. And then the European settlers came, and together, as colonists and settlers, they marginalized, dispossessed us, oppressed us, took our land away. Our land is our blood. Our land, this land belonged to the Khoisan.
Thank you, sir. Your 3 minutes start now, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Peter Marie, and I represent the Griqua Royal House and the Triple B. The issue before us is one of restorative justice. This constitution was agreed to by 17 political parties at CODESA. Today we have two of the main parties who finalized it want to change it. The nationalists sitting there You helped drafting this constitution with the ANC. How can two people decide to amend an agreement which is sacred, drawn up by 17 parties? We want restorative justice, and this constitution makes it possible, but this government lacks the will to implement land reform. Let's look what the constitution said. 25(8), read with 36(1). It says, no provision of this section may impede the state from taking legal legislative regarding land reform in order to redress past racial discrimination. What more do you want? It says it here. No provision can stop you from doing land reform if it is meant to redress past racial discrimination. Now let me tell you how you discriminated against the Griqua and the colored people. Let me remind you, 1972 in Parliament, the Minister of Community Development reported that 70,889 colored families were removed from their properties under the Group Areas Act. 70,000. Now if you consider a colored family is a husband, wife and 4 children, and you multiply it by that number, you come to 425,000 colored people were affected. That we want redress. You must take state land that belong to the state and sell it to our people, Griqua and colored and Khoi, at 50% of its market value. You can sell state land at a much reduced price. Why? Because they took a decision that colored people only earn 60% of what a white person earned for the same job. It's justifiable.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your time starts now.
My name is Sabelo Sibanda from the Pan-Africanist Congress of Tanzania. The PAC position is informed by the restoration of the land to its rightful owners, not expropriation with or without compensation. You as parliamentarians have to address the nation on this colossal fraud that you are playing on the nation as we speak. On one hand, you say land was stolen. At the same time, you say land must be expropriated. How do you expropriate from a thief? How do you, at the same time, say you subscribe to the Freedom Charter that says the land belongs to all who live in it, and then at the same time come and say you want to expropriate from a thief? It is very important that as you explain to the nation, you are not explaining the proviso, because you are telling the nation to go yes or no, but leaving the restoration of land to its owner. And the proviso that you have, you are saying to the nation, expropriation provided it does not affect the economy, it does not affect food security. But people are busy voting, not even knowing that even if they say yes, it will not impact upon anything, because you can block them using the economic argument and the food security argument. So the PAC is saying this issue has to go to a national referendum. Let the people decide on the constitutionality of this process, and indeed on the constitution itself. The entire constitution militates against the African people. So You need, as parliamentarians, to revisit that process and tell us how you justify this colossal fraud. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Kaisa Kuri, Kaisa Hari, Kaisa Miri. Thank you, panel, and thank you, South Africa. How significant in this 100-year centenary of Nelson Mandela, who speaks of a free society, free of race, free of racism. What has South Africa become? That is my question. Now, for what it's worth, there shall be no expropriation without compensation. Why? Before any citizen of the tip of Southern Africa, of the Sub-Sahara continent, decide to speak on land, the following questions must be addressed. What constitutes expropriation? Who qualifies to receive land and why? Who will benefit? Which race? Does historical expropriation form part of land expropriation without compensation? Why was land not placed on a moratorium? Who are the rightful heirs to the land? The aim of expropriation is to bring back equality and to restore the land to its rightful owners, who is the First Nation. The first expropriation of land was in 19 April 1672, the Krulop Agreement. From who was the land taken and who received the land? The answer to that is the First Nation. Many countries have dominated the shores of Cape Town, and today the same pattern persists. Today I can boldly say that this form of genocide is orchestrated by other forces who want to destroy our existence. The rich history we now carry is an oral history from generation to generation. It is time to share the milk and the honey that is in the hands of the elite. We, the so-called coloureds, will continue to fight for a place in the sun in this country. Section 25, as it stands, has not recognized, benefited or included the Khoisan coloureds. Whether it is amended or not doesn't make a difference in our lives. Remember, our title deeds is in the record on all the 9 provinces, which is the proof of our existence. The land audit is still outstanding. Who have granted? We have no granted rights of heritage, historical sites and anthropology, human remains and sacred sites. We are therefore automatically written out of history and simultaneously out of land. Today in 2018, the Khoisan is uninformed about the amendments on the current bill and wants to achieve the objective to write us out of our own history as a First Nation. The Khoisan and the so-called coloureds was never treated with equal status and respect from all governments. The shameful past is difficult to restore under this hostile government. Your refusal to implement Act 30 of 1980 will send you to hell.
From Eloa Crossroad, Power 35, Dililungle EFF. Section 25 must be amended. Across roads, sinabajonge amaninzi. Sihleli endaweni exineneyo. Ngoku sakhelwa nee-malls. Akasifuni tu ezidolophini. Bafuna siphelele apha ezilokishini zethu. Sizawuthi sesizibona iidolophu ngoku sibe siyoklina amahesi wabaneepuli ngasemva. Umhlaba mawubuyele kuthi. Umhlaba mawubuyele ebantwini.
Enkosi mama. Your time starts now.
My name is Saida Mneman. I'm from Philippines, but 80. I'm a member of EFF. I'm here to say Section 25 must be amended. Land must be expropriated without compensation. Justice before peace. Through you, Chair, white people give us our land. Don't insult us by telling us we won't be able to manage our land. We stay in township, pressed, we are given small RDPs with small land we can't extend. Property is ridiculously expensive, especially here in the Western Cape. We all of this is to make sure that African people continue to suffer. Poor people, stop allowing whites to use you to fight their dirty battles. You are Africans. Let us unite and fight these battles. If not yet Uhuru, together we will get our land. If EFF leadership, we are watching you and will support you.
Thank you very much. Your time starts now.
And Yabudis on the Daphne. Hi, moral. Hi, discipline. Hi, moral. Say, suffer. They are sacrificed namhlanje. What I like, Sobukwa's policy. My Africa still alive. We are here now, you need the land. After a long time, you say that PAC is mad. Today, EFF, you say PAC, land first, no negotiation. Oh no, you must follow, guys. You must know that everybody you join, Sobukwa's train. Africa, ETPAC. Umhlaba. What is the land? I want to make you clear, guys. What is the land? The land is my country. The land is my investment. Janugela a piece of land. PNC, we are not talking of the piece of land. We are talking about the country. The country, guys. Namhlanje abantu bakwalanga ezone 17 bahlala kwi-shelters from 1994. Bahambe emanzini ubukela umntwana omncinci one-3 years utholetha phandle kwashaqeba bakhona kwadisekana ngomathi kwalanga ezone 17 ezone 19 kuyatsha abantu bakathixo. There's no land. Tata Sobukwe, Tata. Today, abantu abamnyama abafuna imihlaba yakwenza business. You can see abafamina anemihlaba. Abantu bakwalanga abanatazothandaza. Kathi umuntu osuke eAfrika ufika fumana umhlaba engena phasi. Ma-Afrika yavuya namhlanje. PAC, what is the hero of the South Africa? It's a Robert Sobukwe. PAC is the hero. EFF yabulela. Phakama ulikhela singedwane. Limisayela singedwane. Nonqado Pastor ndiyabulela noThando noJugu. Wonke uAfrika uyi-PAC watshizo ncedo.
Hayi isikhathiphelile mama. Isikhathiphelile.
Uthathile noThando.
Isikhathiphelile mama. Siyabonga. Can we allow the speaker to be heard? Your time starts now, Buti.
Maibuya! Maibuya! Kina mtonyama kina! Kina mtonyama kina! Siyaufuna mhlaba wetu, siyaufuna! Siyaufuna mhlaba wetu, siyaufuna! Inkosi ndiyabulela. Igama lami uNcedo Marikeni, imember ye-EFF, usuke ePhilippi East. Usuke ePhilippi East. Yayixhasa TPC indoba umhlaba mawuthathwe ngaphandle kwembuyekezo. Yayixhasa lo ndawo. Manibuyele eFilipi mhlali ngaphambili kule ndawo usuka kuyo. Xa ujonga iFilipi ugcwele ityotyombe ndawo yonke. Sikalile uthatha umhlaba sidalithini, because siyabona ukuthi lebazisa iparlamente. Umhlaba siyawuthatha eFilipi ngoba asibanga eFilipi. Xa ungena eFilipi ujonga izirato zaseFilipi, zigcwele zamanzi, iidreyini ziyaphuphuma. Because of abantu abamnyama baxilizele kwindawo eyi-1. Sibaninzi pasigcwele, yile nto sithi lo mhlaba mawuthathwe ngaphandle kwembuyekezo. Asithi lo nto leyo sabona bayingcangcazela abalapha. Ifuna uthephe sinenqeni nyani. Lo mhlaba sesiwuthathile siwimva. Lo mhlaba siwuthathile lona. Sibonile uPresident Thuma ebeke wabheke phansi. Wayothetha noNgqondo Gqwirha phaa. Siyababona baqengile bathengela idrinki phambi kwenu. Engathi ufuna ubakhusela, asifuna ifihla. Abantu abaphethe amaplazi mabayazi into yoba lo mhlaba siyawuthatha lo. Befuna bengafuni lo mhlaba ngowethu lona. Siyabesile, naku uPhawula ubheke nawe eParlamente. Sithi singabantu abamnyama sidikiwe ukuhlala kwindawo ezincinci, kwiiploti ezifitshane apho khona uNombeza wakho xa isilwa nomnye. Sithi umhlaba mawuthathwe apho khona umntu azawuba nendlu enkulu enzo bayifunayo. Into endikunika yona Chairperson, ivunyedileyo niyalibazisa ubuyisela umhlaba. Sawungena ezirakeni sawuphatha igana sithi igana ngoku. Sawuthatha umhlaba wethu ngekani, umhlaba wethu uzabuya. Bakuthanda bangathandi, you never give up. Umhlaba wama-Afrika lo, umhlaba wama-Afrika lo. Ndiyayiva ikhona le ntombi endiphazamisayo apha entloko. Kumane kuthiwa eli lizwe lelokhoyisana. No, le history suka kubani lena kuqala. Ngubani lokunika ihistory? Le history manje besinika kubani besiqalela le history ba lo mhlaba abantu uqala ukufika apha ngamakhoyisana. Bayasahlukanisa. Ukoyela sani ibranda kaXhosa lwezulu. Bazala ngumntwana labo bantu. Bazala ngumntwana labo bantu. Africans, basibavuna isidayikwa. Africans basibavuna. Koya nesana nesula wakhili comrade. Asina bavumeleni basabule. Enkosi.
Allow us as Parliament to hear what is being said. To Chantal, your time starts now, Buti. Your time starts now.
Ndingawubonisa okokuqala utata uMadiba, uMandela, owasiphathela le nkululeko. Ndibuyisa kwaqala ngaphambili. Ndizazapha isiqabalamna nonqabethu nakwaDavid. Kase bamplatsha kulaa ndawo sawuthaduni nalapha. Okokuqala ndihlala phaya ndasekulapha. Baze sathi phaka yehathi ahlukumezela ndawo. Yethu siyawa phaa. Akhona. Siyaphela phaya kaloku. Asandawo phaya ngethathi. Siyaphela phaa. Uwefana sazekela phaa. Siyaxela bo. Makasifumane inkululeko mntaneni wethu. Aseblifu. Siyaxela. Angela nosinyango sethontshana. Asifuna siphanga sithethe sithi hoyi phezulu phezulu. Okasiyayenza apha enamanga. Umoshakala. Ayizamkhonzayo. Azibambi kakhulu mna. Socela njengeloo ndawo. Ishiye njengoba njengomlanga njenube. Siyaxela futhi. Bazalwane nganiphakameni futhi. Siyaxela. Nibe kanjani? Ngicela kwazi wena bona. Besambeni. Kwazi ngidaba into ezawulunga. Andithi nibantanguye konke into ethathi yona. Bayibhakani bethatha. Basiyawuza ikithethu. Ubone nje sebekwethu. Sawusebenza ibuye phakathi. Yehona ndawo. Olalapha. Toma olalephi. Bawuhlalephi. Uyafika itheko endlini. Uyafika wena. Ngomsiyafika hayibo. Ayidulile. Hayibo. Kanjalo nje. Kanise. Ndiyabonga thank you very much. Umlungu wazele batsha. Wasekhonsa thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Before you speak, can we allow the speaker to be heard? Can we allow the speaker to be heard? Your time starts now, Bujo.
Thank you, Chair. Revolutionary greetings to the leadership of the EFF under the leadership of our Deputy President, Floyd Shibao, together with the sitting panel. Ndimuthola Sidetwalo, Ndipuma kule ward ndibuye ngoma eGujuju, and I'm a member of the EFF. The understanding yami yento yomhlaba speaks to two issues. Number one, umhlaba wokuhlala, human settlement. Number two, umhlaba economic participation. Upper Western Cape, as things stand, our people are under siege, Chairperson. Our people are under siege because the 1930 Land Act establishments, being Kaili, Chalanga, Bubuletu, Mitchell's Plain, are being extended. And our people are told that, there is no attempt, none whatsoever, to take and position our people at the Museum Stream, where there's enough land next to the beach, where our people can be accommodated for human settlement. We see property developers acquiring land left, right, and center, where they build complexes, which complexes are then utilized to become rent usurping mechanisms, taking away the little money that we have. The only thing that our people want is a piece of land. If you don't want to build for them, give them the land, they will build for themselves. Secondly, there's this social housing that government has in areas like Reitevar here in Gundi, in areas like Steel Villa and so forth, where private companies have become the enemies of our people who reside in social housing institutions such as the one in Reitevar. All people are expected to pay an exorbitant amount of rent. If they fail to do that, they are being evicted. That kind of an approach is unbecoming in a democratic society because it does not promote a security of care. These institutions that already exist through these complexes that were built with taxpayers' money must be expropriated and given to the people that already occupy them. As a young South African Chairperson, I am struggling to access economic land which I can utilize to sustain myself, to develop a business that I want to develop, because here in the Western Cape, if I do not have in excess of 3 million rand, I cannot access a warehouse I need to realize myself. Not all of us want to be farmers. Some of us want to own car dealerships. Some of us want to own factories. Not all of us want to farm, but in order for that to happen, we need to have land. Which land is that? The land which is in the prime area. You are not going to be able to throw us there in the bundles for us to achieve these things, because the land that is prime is the one that is producing economic participation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, land expropriation without compensation for.
Your time starts now, sir.
Forward expropriation without compensation forward. Amanda. Amanda. Thank you, Chairperson, in the panel. I'm standing here representing the young black South Africans who are marginalized, yet have skills, expertise, and ability to work the land. The issue of land, Chairperson, is more about human dignity, restoration. We all know what happened in 1965 and 1913. The Constitution of South Africa was adopted in order to heal the division of the past, establish a society based on democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. We ought to recall this promise and ask to what extent the poor have had access to social justice and fundamental human rights. The reality we are confronted with currently is that South Africa is characterized by unequal, racialized, and patriarchal distribution of land. There is also a high unequal skewed ownership of land in former Pakistan and urban areas in which ordinary people live in small plots of uninhabitable but unproductive land without title deeds. The African National Congress in its 54th National Conference resolved that the approach to the land without the approach to the land expropriation without compensation will be based on 3 elements. Increase security of tenure, land restitution, land redistribution. Colonialization and apartheid legacy lasted for more than 300 years. And in 20 years, the government has been putting systems to ensure economic stability and growth. Therefore, amending Section 25 of the Constitution is among other mechanisms to redress the imbalances of the past. We recommend to the committee to review the following subsection of Section 25. Number 1, review Section 25, subsection 2B, and subsection 3, and subsection 7, and review subsection 7, which speaks about the land disposition that took place in 1913, whereas land has been dispossessed to Africans since Amanda.
Thank you, sir. Your time starts now, Buti.
Molweni bonke apha abantu abalapha endlini. Igama lami ndinguLuwezile ngisuka ku-Atlantis Everton lokishi kwa-32. Into endizisa apha ngaphambili mna i-1 ukuvuma uba umhlaba mawuthathwe ubuyiselwe kubanikazi bawo ngaphandle kwembuyekezo. Okokuqala into ebangela uba ndithethe kanjalo, ewe ndingumntana. Into esibethayo apha i-corruption. And i-corruption isibetha nje ikwasithi siwesternize kakhulu. Sithatha izinto zamanye amazwe sifuna ukuzenza apha eSouth Africa. As an African, South African, ndithi lo mhlaba bawuthathwe kwababantu bamhlophe bafika ngondlela mnyama benza izinto ngondlela mnyama. Unikezelwe kubantu bawo ngokwendlela ezakuthi yonelise wonke umuntu ongu-South Africa walapha Africa. Lenze umzekelo, if lo mhlaba lo sibhizi ngawo lento ayiqala apha eCape Town kudala isenzeka bendiyibonile isenzeka naseMthatha. If bekuthiwa lo mhlaba mhlawumbe wathathwa ababantu like abantu bama-Nigeria baseZimbabwe, andithi besizawuphakama sibabethe senzela nto okuthiwa izanofobia. But ngoku abantu bayasithenga, bathenga thina, bathenga i-leadership yethu kubantu abasiphetheyo le. Basihlose kukhona laa nto okuthiwa yi-third party, benza i-third party. Bayenza sinyolane thina sithi ubani wathi. But babe besazi babona bathenga abantu. So ndithi amandla umhlaba mawubuyele kubanikazi bawo. Apha eKapa iWest futhi le nto iqhelekile kwaye senzeka siyaphambili apha. Kukhona abantu abadecolonize ingqondo. Like i-decolonization, it's where wena ungumntu ne uza kutshintshwa ngomnye umuntu uba wena yenza izinto ngale ndlela yakhe ethandwa nguye. Ndithi as a South African masidibaneni, simanyaneni, silileleni izolokhokho bethu. Ndimele apha ndingumntana. And elokugqibela ilizwe ndifuna ukubeka, kukhona uBhuti ndisuka kuwa-32 unefama, i-commercial farmer enqini. Unefama yakhe uzenzela into zakhe but uhleli kakubi kuloko ezokhalaza apho sihlala khona. Abantu abamhlophe akhe nabo kulaa fama le bamenzela uquku ngothini kwanto eyenzekayo beza kuye like ingaseyifama yakhe ingabhekeli ndawo uba azaqasha abantu abamnyama abaclose kuye. Lo bhuti ukhona apha endlini, so mandiyiveze point yakhe. Into apha ndisuka khona sinengxaki eyi-1 yomhlaba. Umhlaba wethu mncinci. And into ebangela ube mncinci umhlaba wethu kuthiwa kukhona umhlaba womntu but xa siwujonga la mhlaba awunamnikazi wemka kudala umntu wakhona.
Enkosi bhuti. Enkosi bhuti. Good. All right, thank you. Thank you. Your 3 minutes starts now, sir.
Greetings to the leadership in the table and the masses of our people. Africa. Comrade Chair and from the PAC. Let me start by saying we agree that there must be an amendment in the Constitution. But what do we mean by amendment? By amendment, we mean that Section 25 of the Constitution must be repealed in totality. Because, I'll tell you why. We've got Section 25 of the Constitution that gives us the program of security tenure, restitution, and redistribution. As we speak now, Section 25 is not protecting farmers, farm workers being expelled and evicted in farmers today. And yet this section is there. Redistribution and restitution. You are there, you know you couldn't deliver on that. Do you know why you couldn't deliver on that? It is the structure of the Constitution itself. Section 25 is linked to Restitution Act, is linked to PAJA 2000. If we are looking at those acts, they are disempowering you to be able to distribute land to the people. You will be forced now to go to Constitutional Court, and I must tell you, the Chief Justice and his colleagues there, they will use the very same Constitution to measure this expropriation without compensation you want to push. Therefore, the solution, we must repeal in totality Section 25. As we repeal Section 25, we must put in place an act that addresses the issue of land, separate from property, because land can never be a property. You will note all the struggles that we fought in this land since 1652, even before 1488 when the Portuguese were here, we were defending the land. Now, Section 25.7 of the Constitution is the indication of the seller's position that we have taken, because we are saying we only take the land from 2013, from 1913 going forward. It is the reflection of the betrayal of our forefathers. So, how do we correct that? Remove that section in totality. We put Land Act that says the land is the asset of the state. In that Land Act, we put in place the process whereby we say we are going to have structures of the society that will distribute the land. When I'm talking about structures of the society, we are having here royal houses. We've got here.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Your time starts now.
Mr. Chair, I would say, high chess. High chess. Atua Tama Kamske. Atua Tama Kamske. Our fight for survival will continue. That is the chant of the Aboriginal Khoisan. We still oppressed. We still oppressed. We still being discriminated. And this will still be marginalized. Section 25 of the Constitution, as well as the Constitution, is unconstitutional. We don't have a say. We excluded from our Constitution, Act 108 of 1996, needs to be repealed, especially and as well as the whole of Section 25 needs to be repealed. Now, Mr. Chair, what I want to say is that I had much to say, but most of the previous speakers mentioned everything, or most that I wanted to say. We cannot allow, whether we say we leave the Constitution as it is, or we we vote for the yes is because what blank check will we give this government that's already ill-disciplined and do exactly as they wish without the people, the consent of the people. The government do as it pleases and not pleases the people that she's governing. I will thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that is all. I don't want to waste your time because most of other people, like I said, has mentioned most of what I want to say. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your time starts now.
Voorzitter van Constantie, voor die uiters om executive. Wat gebeurt is, hulle wil ons nie op die een plek, hulle wil ons uitbetaal. Net op die een plek, maar as 48 uiters, en hulle wil ons nie uitbetaal op die ander plekke. Nou wil ek dit hoe kan ek maak? En ek support die bal, die section 25 bal. Hy is al...
Dank je, meneer. Anybody? Nobody else? Thank you. Can we'll start in this corner, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5. Put your hands down, put them down. Put your hands down. Put your hands down. Is the mics on top there? They are. They are? Okay. All right. Put your hands down. I'm just starting in that corner there. In that corner, there's a red beret in the third row. Red beret. Ebo. Yeah, where? Ebo. Come to the middle. No. Yeah. That one, yes. Yes, sir. No. Yeah, that one doing that, yes. And the other one. Two of you, yeah. This one with the pink in the front. You number 4. I want there at the back. Yebo, Mama. Mama with the pink. One number 5. Let's start this side. Somebody right at the back with the orange shirt. Orange shirt. You, sir, with the ANC t-shirt. 2. There's a red beret right at the back. 3. And you, sir. You. Yes, sir, you. Yes, sir. Come, no. You. Yes, yeah. Go that way. Go that way, sir. And yes, PAC or something like that with the green, yeah. Let's start this side. There's a blue shirt right at the, no, hold on. You guys put your hands down. No, we're coming to you. Yes, the blue, yes. Mommy with the white. Yes, come this side. Go to the mic. That's 2. That's one doing that, yeah. 3. 3. Yes, sir. You, sir. 4. Go that side. And then the maroon at the back. Yeah. You, yes, sir. Yes, sir. 5. Umama, right at the back. Mama, where? Yeah. 1. And Saran Pansi. You, sir, with the black bag is 2. There's a lady with the red beret. Yeah, one in front. 3. There's a pink jersey or something. Yeah, you, yeah. Yes, 4. And then there's a red here in front. Red, yes, sir. 5. You put your hands down. We're coming here. Put your hands down. Put your hands down. I'm in this row. Put your hands down. There is, yes, mommy. You, ma, with the black dress, yeah. With the, yeah, yes, you that's doing that, yeah. No? Malo, yeah. There's, yes, sir, with the mauve or maroon. You, no, you, yes. Yes. Yeah, yeah, you. Yes, you. Yeah, you. Yeah, go that side. There's a white at the back, white. Yeah, bo. Yeah, the cappies, yeah. Yeah, bo. 3. Yeah, in front. Where now with the red, yeah. EFF, yeah. There is, yeah, don't harass me. Don't harass me. Yeah, I'll give you an opportunity, but don't harass me. Yeah, I'll give you a chance, don't harass me. Go to the stage. You, sir, you. You that's been harassing me, yeah. There's somebody right at the back with the Rasta, right at the back. Rasta, yeah. Yebo Rasta. Move on with the green. La, but you move. Yebo, Wagaboot. Yebo, come. Sisi, with the red. Yeah. Now. The rest put your heads down. We'll come back. No, let's say yeah. But you must not harass me. There, all of you with the black, choose one. One of them, yeah. Ningang shout. Please sit down. Put your hands down and sit down. Have we got a mic to say? Thank you. I want you on the... Have you come from the top? Huh? You come from there? No, but they come from the top. This here? No, I never recognized anybody here. Don't sit down. There's people on the balcony. All of you here, nobody recognized you. Go and sit down. When you were talking at the bottom, those people on the top allowed you to speak. I'm asking you to allow them to speak without you howling them. We're going to start this side. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Right.
Yeah, 3 minutes starts now.
My name is Sean and I represent IFNASA. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I could speak of the need to amend, especially subsection 7, that focuses on 1930. What I do want to say now that both Julius and Masuya has said that they found, or the Khoi and San people were found here first. Yet if I look at your panel, there's not a representation of the Khoi and the San people on your panel. So how are you going to make decisions for the Khoi and the San people, but you don't have them on your panel? So as IFNASA, we'd like to say that we reject this and stand as we are not recognized on your panel. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Please shout, I can't hear you, shout.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is that better? Well, I just want to start by saying I don't agree by changing the Constitution is going to be the solution. It's not the Constitution that is the problem. It is how it's being implemented. The Constitution requests and requires a fair and equitable fair transaction. But every transaction that I've heard of is that when it comes to equity has had to go to the Constitutional Court, if not near it, and not many people can afford to go all the way to a Constitutional Court to challenge any law. I recommend that instead of changing the Constitution, rather get the court to say, let's make a census of the land, and then decide what is the minimum value of land not being used. And let's not have every time someone has to make a prevention, having it go to the court. Let's make it faster, and instead of having hundreds, thousands of people here unhappy, and they're not unhappy because of the law. The law reads like poetry. They're unhappy of how it is being implemented. And it's not even the government, it's just the very state that has been admitted into our society that is crushing and killing our people. And that is my recommendation. Rather than change, instead of changing the Constitution, change all the laws around it and make the constitution stronger and empower people to buy that. You know, I am an engineer. I cannot afford a house. If I don't stand a chance, how does anyone here does? Please, I ask, make it an equitable one of this. That's it. Things for all sides.
Thank you, sir. Can I appeal to those of us at the bottom? Can I appeal to you at the bottom just to be a little bit quiet, because we want to hear the wisdom of those that listened to us when we were speaking. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Yeah, madam, it is a citizen of Africa. If they are 20 jaar op die City of Cape Town list. En ons bly op grond wat die ons is die. En hulle het gesê na 5 jaar, dan gaan hulle dit oorsit aan die mense. Maar ons kry nie die grond nie, ons kry nie ook nie die huise nie. En ek dink is baie unfair vir ons, wat al die jare al 13 jaar bly daar op die grond. En ek bly na die City of Cape Town gaan, en hulle sê net vir my, ek moet wag, en ek moet wag. En ek dink, my ouma het grond gehad, en ons kry nie die grond, die familie kry nog altyd oor die grond. En ek dink as baie unfair vir ons kinders, wat nog moet groot raak, die is al klaar met school, en hulle het nie van hulle eie nie. So ek dink as unfair vir ons as mens, wat in die op die brein mense, ons wordt baie terughou van grond af, wat een uitvolle oorsinne is. So ek wil net my stem reis, en sê dat ons het recht om ons grond te kry, en dan staan ek terug.
Thank you. All right.
Ebantwini ngaphandle komphekazi okunye kwenzele kakhulu endikuyalaza kaningi nezi sizathu ndazibhala kaningi ngoku lo mhlaba wasemarikana kawa-35 kuphucwa yonke le mihla phaya izindlu ziqinene futhi akukho nto engathi ngabakho ibonakala uba ingenza safe xa kunatha amanzi angena endlini ndifuna uyalaza kaningi kubafundisa balapha engicela ukuthi mababe inxalenye yale nto umhlaba mawubuyele back wonke umntu ongumfundisi kuba kulamangcwaba esinawo apha enyanga ndibona isimanga phaya ngcwaba yonke la mihla umntu phezu komnye umntu phezu komnye umntu phaa ukungcwaba ugqirha namhlanje ngomso ungcwaba umthethe phezu kogqirha yonke le mihla umane ukusithi umhlaba emhlabeni uthule ethulwini sithi ke into sicelayo masomnikwe lo mhlaba ngoku sisaphilayo singaniki sesinengqile yes ngoku into ndifuna ukuyalaza kaningi ezohlala phantsi ndicela konke kufuneka kuyenzeka ngasokukhawulezise kurhulumente kuba lo mhlaba lona azange uthethwe ngendlela rayithi wabiwa lo mhlaba omnye utata ebethetha apha ebesithi kungcono into yobana uba ngaba awukhawulezise laa nto kwenzeke uplan P uplan P ke ndifuna uyalaza kule xa ingenzeke le nto ithethe kangale mzuzu izinyo ngezinyo iliso ngeliso amandla
Of course. Your time starts now.
Ndiyabulisa mhlala ngaphambili ndibulise nge-lawmakers zonke ezokungqangileyo igama lami ngumpumelelo kaNkulunkwana. Ngilungu le-EFF. Ndiphuma umhlaba waseBrooklyn. Ndingumuntu orentayo, orenta under i-NGO Paul Communicare. Indlela esihleli ngayo mhlanga ngaphambili phana kuyafana into yokuba thina sisebula government wokucalucalulo. Wathetha ngomhlaba okanye wathetha nge-title deed. Ufumanile eshushu esuke emagqotheni. Lo mhlaba sithetha ngawo ke kwala mhlaba useBrooklyn, lo mhlaba useRedeville, ngumhlaba owabiwa urhulumente wocalucalulo wawufaka kwezinye institution kuthiwa zi-social housing. Wakufihla khona ke mhlanga phambili. Kwathi kwenzeke njalo ezakhampani ngoku la mhlaba zithatha ngoba ziyawu-owna zenza i-business zaseziprivate. Ndicela mhlanga phambili nizijongele loo ndawo. Le ndawo ye-social housing institution ayisebenzi ngoba iqoba abantu umqolo. Yabona ke mhlanga phambili ngicela uziqwalise le ndawo apha eKapa abelungu number 1 bacimba bane-island yabo ile Kapa. Abayazi ngoba lizwe lethu leKapa. Number 2 hlekazi benza i-system apha yento yobana umntu omnyama angazayi indawo. 2 nekuhambe eJoburg kufuna ungathi uba ngumntu ngoba apha into esebenzelayo sebenzela i-rent. Asikwazi ukhompitha nababelungu ngoba asinanto esandleni. Okhokho bethu zange basishiye nanto ngoba into zabo zabiwa ngabebelungu. Siyacela ke mhlanga phambili nangona nilate nje nipushwe yi-EFF nithe nafika kodwa nize ke ngoku mhlanga phambili ningalali ngoba yonke influence yanika nikulo rhulumente. Niyabhatalwa, ndiyanibona niyasebenza, akuphinde kulalwe ngoku. Funeka iqale le nto iqala apha iqale ngeKapa. Uyalifund Ripik wethi ijukwe eqala kuze ziyiqale nesiqala apha eKapa. Nantso eyona ndawo inocalucalulo, abantu abamnyama abangenanto, abahluphekayo, abahlala endlaleni, bahlala kwindawo engakwazi nozibiza ezinye mhlanga phambili. Enkosi.
Siyabonga. Your time starts now.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm going to be very brief. Just 2 points. One, I have listened to a lot of speakers here, and the emphasis is on farmland. There's nothing wrong with that. But we need to concentrate as well on the prime land that exists, especially in this province, which is only owned by white people. And that is extremely unfair. Our people are pushed into townships. There's a lot of prime land. Woodwood, you go to Century City, you go to all these predominantly white residential areas. And there is land there that needs to be expropriated. I forgot to say, I support the motion that the land should be expropriated without compensation. Secondly, I want to say also that if you go to the townships today, there are malls that are being built that are owned by white people. They used to say those are high-risk areas, but when they want our money, they go there and build huge malls from the land. When we inquired about that land, we were not given as to who owns that land. But because they want to build malls there, all of a sudden now we know that the land is owned by the very same white people. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, sir. Mama, your time starts now.
Siyabulisa kuni bahlali ngaphambili nani bahlali ngokubala. Nithetha ngozanele lusithi luthethayo uphuma kumhlaba waseMamasipili. Ndiyayixhasa into ethi umhlaba mawubuyele kuthi kuba ngawotatomkhulu ngaphandle kwembuyekezo. Xa ndisitsho ndithetha mna ndilixhoba le-willing agreement between the willing seller and the willing buyer. Ndithetha mna ndingomnye wabantu abangathathi ntweni kodwa abakwazileyo ukuqoqokelela imali besenzisofela bakwazi ukwenza i-2.8 million yokuthenga umhlaba emntwini omhlophe. Ize umasipala waseSwartland Municipality okhokhelwa yi-DA angenelele between the willing seller and the willing buyer. Today, defense eviction order emhlabeni osebenzelwe ngamaxhewazana angathathi ntweni abekhupha imali yegrant, abazali abebengaphangeli abasebenzisa imali yegrant ze kubekho umuntu othi umhlaba mawunganikezelwa ngaphandle kwembuyekezo. Yeyiphi imbuyekezo engaphezu kwemali yamaxhewazana alala engatyanga kuba efuna indawo yokuhlala? Ngihlala ngaphambili nebhodi yakho nincedisane ne-EFF umhlaba mawubuyele kuthi ngaphandle kwembuyekezo ukuze sihlale sonwabe kuba namhlanje singenelwe zii-opportunities ezingena kumhlaba esifuna ukuwuthenga sawubhatalela bangena bona bengenamali bengawazi uba usukaphi babulala thina. Namhlanje sithelwa zizindlu ngenxa yemizamo yethu urhulumente uhleli. The DA municipality relaxed in his office because the Mamasipili is still racist. Ndicela umhlaba ubuyele kuthi phambili bahlali phambili.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time starts now, Putin.
Thanks very much, Chairperson. Given Svei from Gagishapiro branch of ANC, I want to add my voice as part of the collective to say yes, Section 25 of our Constitution requires amendment. There are a number of reasons that one can advance in making this particular argument. But more importantly, from the chair, we want those who are opposed to the amendment of the Constitution to just take a time, go in our black countries such as Khayelitsha, see how our people in Khayelitsha, Nyanga, Kugule, they are squashed because there's not enough piece of land on which they can be able to build land so that then they can live in a dignified manner. But one of the most important messages that I want to communicate as part of ANC in the country is that we are very worried about those who are in South Africa who, when we are debating this particular question, they go to the international community while they are in South Africa, lobbying against the land reform in South Africa. We are beginning to question the loyalty and the love for them to make sure that the inequalities that are the direct result of the colonialism are being dealt with harshly. So we are appealing to them. We are saying, let's be this together so that then indeed we are going to create and sustain a South Africa that belongs to all of us, black and white. And that particular South Africa can remain a country for everyone for as long as all of us agree to make sure that, for instance, the 1% ownership of the land by majority of black South Africans is improved so that therefore we are able to have ownership of a majority piece of land in the country because we are an indigenous people. And we must say we are a very decent people. we are saying let's sit on the table and negotiate. We don't want to behave the way it was done when the disposition of the land happened. And we don't want to remind people about that history. We want to build South Africa together as a people in a human manner. We don't want to see what happened in this. So we are appealing, let's stop mobilizing the international community against the land reform in the country. Let's work together and make sure that indeed in a practical way, South Africa belongs to us. You can't have majority living under the terrible conditions of poverty, as it is the case at the moment. Hence, we are saying, let's work together, stop going outside, remain South Africa, make sure we work together on the land. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mandibulise, njengotata Mgqolo wakwaXhala. Okokuqala ndizawuthi ndiyayisapota imotion eza ne-EFF yokuba umhlaba mawubuyiselwe ebantwini bawo ngaphandle kwembuyekezo. Ndiphinde ndizobulela i-availability ye-EFF because today we are here because of EFF yeza nemotion yokuba makuthathwe umhlaba. And then umhlaba is a basic economy. Xa sinowufumana umhlaba wethu back, ingashiyeka nale nto manje sithiwa irandi laze lenyuka, irandi laze la-affected. Because xa kubuyela umhlaba ebantwini bawo, nathi ngenye imini sizawukwazi uzingca sithi singamafama abantu abamnyama. If uya e-Eastern Cape, kuneefama ezileleyo phaya zabantu ekuthiwa bamhlophe abemka mhla kwathiwa kuphatha umntu omnyama but basa-owna umhlaba olapha eSouth Africa, olapha eAfrika. Umhlaba mawubuyele ebantwini bawo, sizawukwazi nathi ke sibe ngonomashishini abakhulu aba-owna ifama, aba-owna imihlaba. Ndiyayisupport imotion kakhulu. Bulela i-EFF ingase ingaqhubeleka after siphumelele le motion eze nenye until nathi sibe negalelo kumthetho okanye sibe ne-input kumthetho walapha eSouth Africa because i-ANC failed us since 1994. Akho nomnye umthetho okuthiwa uya kwi-economy ye-country eyayitshintshayo. It's the first motion ye-EFF eya straight ebalungwini kuchallenge abantu abamhlophe. Abantu abamhlophe kudala betapade ebhandaneni kungekho bantu batshalenjayo. Siyayibulela i-EFF loo nto leyo. Sithi umhlaba mawubuyele ebantwini bawo. Enkosi. Enkosi butwana.
Bodini igama lami abangeni ndisuke ekhayelitsha ukuthi ubheke okokuqala ndifuna ukuthi siyayisapota into yobana kubuyiswe umhlaba ebantwini ngaphandle kwembuyekezo. Bayana ekhayelitsha ukomhlaba bawuthula i-Mitchells Plain nekhayelitsha kuthiwa yi-Swahili. Abantu bakuthi kokhelwa ezindaweni zasokulo othula abantu abangabakhalani nabantu abangabamnyama. Kulaa ndawo leyana previously bekuthiwa yi-ownwa nguDanel, namhlanje i-ownwa ngu-South African Aviation Agency. Ngoku ndithetha nawo kube indawo kukhiwa indawo yokukhala eMyCity. Thina sikhulele eBack eMakweli kuthiwa sisi-backyarders ekhayelitsha. Abantwana bethu bakhulela emva kwezindlu zethu. Sihlala emibhaleni not neehagu zabalungu. Izinto ezinjengathi zabalungu zihlala zilezindlu zabo zithiswa koomama bethu siyazazi. Sisapota ke into yobana makubuyiswe umhlaba sizokwazi uba nezinto ezizophela ngokwethu. Abantu bezindlu bazibekileyo bazithengiselweyo bazezibhanki zibonwa ngabantu abamhlophe bayakutshwa sithetha namhlanje. So siyigosi yasekhayelitsha sithi mayubuyiswe umhlaba ngaphandle kwembuyekezo.
Thank you, sir.
This is what I do. Chairperson, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Largely, this debate of yours, it is inside the church. Let me put it this way. When God created us, He did create us on top of the land. He never created a human being on top of the sea, on the air. And he divided us like this way. Africans in Africa, Europeans in Europe, Africa is for the Africans. Humanity is for God. God is for all. Let me come to the point. Let me make it clear. First of all, I'm not a black person. I'm an African. I'm not a black person. I'm an African. Let me make it clear. When the PAC broke away from the ANC, he broke away just because of the land issue. After the ANC formed so-called freedom seekers, this land issue is not something it's come now from the EFF. Let me correct that. It doesn't come now from the EFF. It comes from the PAC. Long time ago. That is why the PAC was formed. It was formed just because of the land issue. Let me go further, Chairperson. First of all, since from 1994, here's Orania. Here's Orania in the Northwest. For this problem of absorption of land and competition, why don't you study there in Orania since from 1994? You didn't start there in Orania. On the other side, you got a constitution here in this country which says South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white, which you must revive your constitution. You must revive your constitution because the huge hectares of land is still in the white man's hands. And the house and the land were not been stolen, people. It was taken. It was not been stolen.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you, honourable members. I wanted to just start with a preface to answering the question on whether the Constitution should be amended. And that is to, first of all, say that I love all of you, and I love everybody sitting here today. And I wear my old army jacket and my medals because I know what the effects of war are. And mostly what I've heard coming from these sittings is a lot of hate and a lot of threats of killing people. I represent myself, all South Africans, but especially the children of the future. I am against the Constitution being amended, not only on the grounds of many articles such as the Banju Act. I solely object to it on the grounds of Article 17 of the Unilateral Declaration of Human Rights. I also reject it on the grounds of a constitution that was formed by joint parties, where many members had the experience of life. And I fear that if the constitution is changed, that those who stand to benefit from it now might one day be bitten by it, because the only thing certain in life is uncertainty and change. And that is why I'm willing to subscribe to the wisdom of our elders who formed the Constitution. So that is my reasons for being against it, why I am in favour of compensation and repair being made for the injustices of the past. I suggest that the ANC use their position in government to use the money wisely and to use their power wisely to find other ways so that injustices can be redressed. In closing, I just want to say that for those who threaten us with war, you don't want to go there. I am a veteran of war. There are no winners in war. There are no winners. There are no winners in war. And even though I have love in my heart, I will stand and defend my people. And we were trained to fight 100 times our number. 10 times our number will be a walk in the park. And I will defend my nation to death.
Hey, you guys on top. Allow the people to speak. You guys on the top. You guys on the top. Allow. You see you with the red, go up and you move. There. Thank you very much. You see you two guys there at the top. Can we allow... Yeah, there must be security on the top. I don't know where they are. Can you guys, can you guys sit down? Can you sit down? Can you sit down? Can you guys all settle down? Those young men on the top, you young men on the top, Ninga Emosh. Everything that we have done up to now will be wasted. I'm allowing you on the gallery to continue, but we will not allow it to happen again. Everybody, even those in the queue, you can't be in the queue and fight when somebody speaks, because when you speak, you expect the chair to defend you. Sir, your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Francois, and my surname is Malan. I just want to say that this incident that just took place now is evident of how futile the situation is in this country regarding land. People in this country want property, they want land, which is rightfully so. I just want to say the following in terms of the Constitution. I believe that we have a wonderful Constitution. CODESA 1, CODESA 2, a lot of sweat, tears went into that. Nothing is perfect in life, and even the Constitution is like a dam. Sometimes water stagnates if there's no new water coming in. So we need to make provision to change certain things in life and maybe look at the Constitution. The Constitution as is, I would say, as a representative of FOCC, is fine. We need to address the issue of land and we need to change. But I think we need to do it just and fairly. So to take away property or land without compensation, I don't think it's fair. But we can find a fair way in dealing with this. This land is your land, but this land is also mine, or our land. Okay? If you are born of this land, then you are an African, like all of us. I'm born in South Africa. South Africa is part of Africa. So if I'm called as an African, I can be called an African, because I'm part of the African continent. But we need to look at Ubuntu. We need to trust each other, love each other, and care for one another. So we need to deal with this in a dignified, proper way, without prejudicing anybody's rights or status. Lastly, I want to ask this question, Chairman. Where is the banks fitting into this? If we expropriate land, where is the banks? I don't see them here. I don't hear them here. Okay? So what's going to happen to people's bonds? What is going to happen to people's property? Do we rectify one wrong with another wrong? Or do we find a solution that's amicable for all in this country? Not for people to go and separate like in Iran here or like separate in a province, but that is work together as one, united. We have a slogan that states, all for one and one for all. We do not say.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Time has expired. Daddy, your 3 minutes starts now.
My name is Daniel Andrianse. I'm not a politician. I'm merely representing my family, the Andrianse family. We are indigenous to this region, the Cape Peninsula, and we are not in favor of changing the constitution. Or, as to be specific, amend Section 25, because if we read that section properly, we'll find that that section makes provision for expropriation of land, even without compensation. Therefore, we are not in favor of that. We are of the view that everything here, specifically pertaining to land, can be shared among South Africans. And that is why I oppose that intention. Not so long ago, Mr. Mandela, when he came out of prison, he harbored no resentment to nobody. Not even those who put him in prison. That is why the Constitution, as it stands, was formulated with that mindset. And it was actually dubbed one of the best, if not the best, constitutions in the world. Therefore, my family optimistically supported the government's program for restitution of land rights. At the moment, it appears that the Office of the Land Commissioner is not functioning at all. Needless to say, our family are very disappointed. And so too are the millions of families here residing in the peninsula and right around the country that has lost land claims. For 20 years, we wait for the government to make use of Section 25 so that we can become title holders of land. And we are still waiting. Mr. Chairman, you were quite right that this issue is a very emotive issue. And we do not want the same thing to happen that happened to Bafana. We all know what happened to Bafana. Bafana.
I will just your time has expired. Those of us downstairs, can we afford respect to those upstairs? Please, no. Can we afford them respect? The duty today is to answer the question. Must Section 25 be amended, and if so, how? If not, why not? Your time starts now, sir.
I am Willie Stevens from Honeywell Nedrecht. I hear other people say Section 25 must go, and I support that. But one thing I want to put it straight is that seems to me that people don't know
who must be compensated. Our land was not stolen. It was taken by force through a gun barrel. After that, our livestock were taken. From a cattle to a donkey, everything was taken. Even those people, they never pay a cent for the killing of our people, stealing of everything. They have never paid a 1 cent. Now we say, who must be compensated? The people must be compensated. Because why? They need that money to work their land. That's what we say. That people, they may make sure that the black people will never prosper. Coming up with their growth oriented. Second, with the Job Reservation Act, say, thank you for all these things. I do think the time now is right, but although it's too late a bit, we have been waiting too long for this. Now we say, City Council of Cape Town must start now, dishing out land so that people can build their houses. I am a leader of a community organization in Edrecht. Our people are overcrowded. It's a real health risk. And the evictions, we fight every day with the council. What I'm saying now, whoever wants to stop this, even a government cannot stop it. Our people are already before this. Whoever, even our white people, cannot stop it. We say the land must come to the rightful owners. No doubt about it. As I read, 52 billion were given to the white people because of willing buyer, willing seller. We want that 22,000 back, sir.
Your time has expired.
We need it.
Thank you, sir.
Good day. My name is Brother Bernard Tennyson. I'm a nothing because God makes me a something. Amen. I support the democracy and the choices of the Western Cape people concerning Section 25, land appropriation without compensation. I appeal to this body that is sitting in front of here to branch out the seat of Section 25, land appropriation without compensation to all communities in the Western Cape, not just this body, right? Include the traditional leaders, include the kings and the queens of this region. Because if you do not do that, right, you're gonna ignore the roots and the history of our people in the Western Cape and even in all the other provinces of South Africa, right? Cecil John Rhodes and John van Riebeeck, they came here. They killed the kings and the queens and the traditional leaders. Why? Because they wanted to erase the history of our people. Now I'm appealing to this body that is sitting here. Listen to the EFF because I'm praying for them. To God be the glory. And I say this, you know, that listen to the EFF so that you can hear what the EFF is saying, so that you can see where the EFF is going. I am not the EFF, but they are in the will of God. Praise the name of the Lord. Do not let us make the same mistake, people, as the history pioneers. Do not let us follow the same trend as what have happened in the history. Do not declare war, but let us come to the facts, right, of the scenario here. If you're gonna pack up your bags, you're gonna go into another province, right? What prosperity blessing do you have of the Western Cape if you ignore this? Right? Because that is your prosperity blessing to this body to go to the next province and to get the consensus and the feeling of each and every province. So I pray that God will give you wisdom, God will give you the courage, God will give you the authority, and God will give you the glory and the mercy that is solely due to you. Amen. In the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Your time starts now.
Good day, panel. Good day, panel. My name is Vusum Viliesi. I'm a spokesperson of Amakrina clan. I will support the resolution as Amakrina. I will support the section 21 to amend. Yes. It's not about I don't want you to reduce this thing about land. The people, they're saying that if you are talking about land, we are talking about the house. We are talking about the industrial zone, the dams, the estate. If you go to Somerset, we see the inside. There is the estate on your left, there is the RDP, there is a lot of checks in Kainich. We must participate in these processes. Don't confine us if the Bura, they say that if you are talking the land, you are talking about the farmers. No. This issue of land is too broad. We're talking about the participation of the economical transformation to be a part of all the activities of land. One, the issue of dams, the issue of fishing industry, the mining. I've got a lot of minings in Cape Town. Our people is not participating in that process. And I feel very strong. There are two communities in this country. The white team do not want to participate in this process. They feel that the apartheid is doing right. The apartheid is not right. It was not okay, the apartheid. Because they're discriminating us. They're fighting us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Baba.
Yeah, greetings to everyone. I'm Thabo Tiniso from Ward 4, Joe Slovo Park in Milnerton. Chairperson, mine is very short, Honorable Vincent Smith. I am standing here to support the amendment of Section 25. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you, Chairperson. I've come to here today to express my views as a concerned South African with some knowledge of development of land and housing. And I'm not in favor of amending the Constitution, and the reasons are the following. There is no doubt that there remains a need to equalize the economic ownership of South Africa's assets, including equitable distribution and ownership of land. In terms of the greatest need for land, I would argue that this is in the urban areas, and in this regard I do not believe that the issue is a lack of available land. The truth is there is a lot of land which could be accessed under the current legal framework. And importantly to note is that the problem is not the cost of the land, but the cost of the infrastructure like roads, electricity, water, sewerage, etc. to make the land habitable. Of course, while our economic growth is around a pathetic 1%, the country will struggle to fund the unlocking of any land. And it's criminal that government continually blocks any hope of real economic growth and the associated creation of real employment. In addition, we will have committed economic suicide if the land reform process results in land losing its inherent value. A further challenge to unlocking available land is the sheer volume of bureaucratic processes one has to undertake in order to access land. Apart from this being very expensive, it can take at least 8 years from identifying land for housing to building the first house. The point I make is that government itself puts roadblocks in the way of unlocking land as opposed to the Constitution being the problem. My view is that beneficiaries of land must take ownership of the land in the form of title deeds to the land. I do not agree with the notion that state ownership of land will unlock wealth for the people. In fact, I believe that it will have the opposite effect. My fear is if we were to have chaotic land reform programs, the only people in this hall who would benefit from land would be those in political power and friends of those in power. History has shown that this is what happens. Instead of government using excuses and a scapegoat for not achieving its stated goals, it should look to itself for the reasons why there has been so little interest and so little action to achieve its land redistribution objectives. You do not need to change the Constitution, and I say to all politicians, look at the tools you have at your disposal today and implement them tomorrow. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, sir. Your time starts now.
Amandla! Amandla! Umhlaba! Siyabulela, Chairperson. Igama lami ndingowenu. Remember ethi sihlale madikizela informal settlement kumhlaba esiqothathe sawuxoxelayo esiphekwa sophulwa kuwo uGordon Paul something lolo wayiyo ndingayaziyo. I 100% and fully support amendment of section 25. I don't have to go back to the 18th because we all know what happened. We and the people who brutally took our land, we know what happened by the time they were taking our land. I salute the members of the EFF and their leadership. We as South Africans are oppressed at our own land. Sekusithwa sakhelwe izindlu kubekwa omunye phezu komunye. What the hell is that? Kuthiwa kuyayinqatshwa kuthiwa omunye phezu komunye. Yemani sifuna umhlaba wethu. Engiyekani lento yokubrainwasha Khoi and the Sons. Dizakulu, you whiteness. Do not brainwash them. Because when we're talking about the first people of the land, we include the Khoi and the Sons. We are one. Please do not try to separate us in any way. Umhlaba ma-Afrika ngowethu noba siza kuwenza ntoni ayibafuni lonto. Other swimming pool bayadada kuzo nathi siyafuna udada. We need our land back, not idala. Alota continua.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Your time starts now, sir.
Mandisibonisele nam apha kwipanel. Ngibulise kunye nabahlali. Qina mhlali, qina. Siwuthathile umhlaba, siwuthathile. Ingowethu nje siwuthathile. Siyawuxhasa umcimbi kaSection 25 othi umhlaba mawubuyiselwe kubanikazi wawo ngaphandle kwemali. Asinamali. Asizubhatalela umhlaba wethu. Ndingusongezwa kwaMakeleni. Ndihlala kwa 35 kumatyotyombe abizwa kuba yiMarikana. Uqinize sawuthatha ke thina ke umhlaba abadlali pha. Ngenkani salwa kuba sisahlala pha. Siwinile ke ngokwasekhoti. Uhulumende waseNtshona Koloni usasifaka uqinizelelo lokubeni ba inkonzo mazingangeni pha kulamango waka35 kulamatyotyombe. Abantu bakuthi bahleli kabuhlungu eNtshona Koloni beqinizelelwa lubandlululo olwenziwa iDemocratic Alliance. Abangaziphulaphuliyo izimvo namalungelo wabantu. So umhlaba sisezawuthatha maqabane. Ukhona omnye umhlaba ongase-airport olihlathi siza kuwuthatha ngomhlaba. Ingowethu nje sizawuthatha la mhlaba. Asizuyeka uthatha umhlaba. Into maniyithathe niyiphanele ngoku isigqibo sithathiwe eNtshona Koloni kuba sithi sizwe simnyama umhlaba mawubuyele kubo. Enkosi.
Enkosi. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairperson, committee, fellow citizens of South Africa.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Okay, I have listened with a lot of interest around South Africa. I have listened with a lot of interest to the committee as it's traveled around South Africa. And the overwhelming argument I hear for land expropriation is about the Khoi, the San, the First People, the EFF, the ANC, this one, Freedom Front, that one, this group, the ex-soldiers. I'm speaking to you today as a proud African, a white African, yes, and a proud South African. Guys and girls, I'm going to talk to you in the simplest possible language. We have an amazing country. We have an amazing people. We could be, if we got our shit together, one of the first and leading nations in the world to show even the Americans how to do it, okay? Everybody has discrimination. Everybody has dispossession, okay? I have in my family a microcosm of South Africa. This is my son. His name is Buhle. I have a person in my family, my 2 nieces, children of my brother, who are of Khoi San origin. In fact, in 1976, at the height of the Soweto riots, my brother had to leave South Africa so that he could marry the woman he loved. Okay. I don't want to go into the history. I can tell you about my black ancestors. I can tell you that Nelson Mandela, and I think we should all just raise our hats in honor of Nelson Mandela. I think Nelson Mandela, if he was here today, would tell you that he had white ancestors. What we have here is a nation. Every nation in the world is made up of different people, okay? So, who are the real problems here? Actually, it's the government. Whether it's the NAC, whether it's the ANC, whether it's the EFF, and heaven forbid, of course, most of all, the DA. Okay, so we should start by expropriating government land. Oh, and by the way, for any of you who don't know your history...
Oh, that your time has expired. Let's allow the speakers. Put your time starts now.
Amanda! Africa! Africa! Kingdom Kingdom! Police! Phambili. Ubonisa khayelicha yoba kuphela. Azani Square. Azani Square manibone. Umhlaba. Ngelishwa nje andiboni ngokini. Kuthiwa nguJuju. Kuthiwa nguJulius. Kuthiwa nguJulius Malema. Andiboni. Sekunje nje ungenxa yakhe uthe take over. Kwindawo abantu bengathi abazazi ayazazi iqale phaa kwi-DA iye ku-ANC i-ANC ibiyazi umhlaba wabiwa niwubile abantu abamhlophe be-DA nawuba into esiyifunayo bhekha elitsha zizindlu ezirayithi amatyotyombe manageable siyatshelwa sinabantwana and then asinandawo sidiniwe kurenda EFF lento uyiqalileyo sosuyithatha ubheke phambili uyithathe ubheke phambili sithemba thina singaphaya ekhaya elitsha sisemva kwakho sikujongile once wenza one mistake wathi asifuna kuhlaba wodwa kodwa siyafuna noloba philwandle ingabi yonke amabhulodo qha ingabi yonke amabhulodo kuthiwa kungena abantu abathile phayelwandle siyafuna uloba sikhulele endlaleni from Eastern Cape bayibhulishile bayigqiba ngoku bazosithina apha ligame lethu ngoku ningasiceli ngobudala benu ngo-1916 nto ningasixeleli game lethu ngoku kamandi utsho nopresident uCyril Ramaphosa uthi thuma mina senisithumile ke nina ke EFF nisithumile nina siyulutsha mna ke ndizomela ikhaya elitsha ndimela ntoni umuntu omnyama makathini afumane umhlaba okhokho but abasekho ngoku abakhoyo ngoku sithi abakhoyo ngoku akho khokho ngoku into masiyithethe ngoku nina apho kuloo tafile yenu gqibani kha nisinike and then asiyiphula lolo enforcement phaa kuthi ngoku iphinde isithethele izindlu asiyifuni loo nto leyo siyijongile nje ndithetha ngoku mna ndingubhayi bayandazi into mayenzeke kuloo tafile bootata bomama sandukhumsha kakhulu nikhumshengenani phaa kuthi babhayi.
Can we allow the speaker to be heard? On the gallery, can we allow the speaker to be heard? Your time starts now.
Good day, members. Good day, comrades. I'll be brief. I am here to show my support for the amendments of the Constitution to allow for land expropriation without compensation. There's many reasons that I take this position, but obviously as we limited time, I will only go into a few of them. I'm 22 years old. I was born in 95. That means I'm considered what people think born free. But as I look around and I see my black brothers and sisters, that's not freedom to me. I see, you go to any neighborhood, the main road splits, there's the races. The white people get the good side, the black people still have to live in poverty. I do not get it. Segregation persists in our society today, and it is time that we give effect to the words of the Freedom Charter, which states that the land belongs to those who work it. It is time we give effect to that. And as we give black people back their land, we must remember when my forefathers arrived here and stripped black people of their land, they did not only strip them of their land, but they stripped them of their dignity. It is time that we restore that dignity. The time is now.
Thank you, sir. Before you start, can we allow the speaker? Can we allow the speaker to be heard? Your time starts now.
Amanda! Away too! Good afternoon, everybody. This is Leboha Kutudisi, an economic freedom fighter. First of all, yes, Section 25 must be amended. This is why. First of all, when we're going to call them people because now it's democracy, but then they were not acting like people. It was back in the 17th century when the Dutch got here and they violently, when they got on the Cape of Good Hope, they violently dispossessed the people of their own land. Those people being the Xhosa and the Khoi. Do not get confused. The Khoi and the Xhosa lived in harmony in the East Coast and the West Coast before they got here. The Khoi did not just come up like grass. They were coming from somewhere, just like the Bantustans. Now, after the Dutch got their land illegally in South Africa from the people that were behaving peacefully and in harmony with their own spiritual ways, the British got jealous because now they came, they saw the Dutch is going to be building an empire bigger than us. And then they did what the Dutch did to them. Now I guess that was karma. They pushed the Afrikaners in, and the Afrikaners went into Kimberley and the Free State to steal further. And then they want to tell us they discovered something that we've been molding and building for years. Years before they even got. The Portuguese even were lost at sea. They didn't even find the way here until the Dutch assisted them. How civilized were we? Now, going back to the whole constitutionality and the legislation of this issue. This republic, it is a republic and it is part of the Commonwealth. We are fooling ourselves with some of the processes that we think we're going to change. They're not going to change anything. After all this process, we must still go to the Queen in England and ask her, can we change the Constitution? Because we are part of the Commonwealth. Let us not be fooled and just change the entire Constitution as it is, because it was built upon a lie, which is CODESA. Because CODESA, we do not even have the minutes of CODESA. We do not know what was discussed before 1993 when Mandela was released from prison. Mandela, who was supposedly singing beaches and free. Let me say this, Mandela was free before 1990. He was free and discussing how people were going to move forward without wanting their land back. But now we do not forget that, because we suffer every day because you do not have the privacy. Imagine a 35-year-old man living in the house with a 15-year-old teenager, and those people have to bath looking at each other in the face because there must be people.
Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Liz Ososiwe from Site C. I'm Liz Ososiwe from Site C. I support those who are saying that the section must be amended to allow for expropriation of land without compensation. Just to quickly say, Chair, those who are opposed to the amendment, I think they are selfish and don't have the interest of the country at heart. Allowing for expropriation without compensation is the only way in which we can accelerate land reform. I quickly want to jump to the how part. I think the buildings in the city center, Chair, where there are absent owners, those buildings need to be expropriated so that we can be able to accommodate people for housing. Secondly, Chair, the agricultural land where owners cannot provide proof of ownership, those pieces of land should also be expropriated. On the final part, there are pieces of land in Stellenbosch whereby owners entered into disagreements just before 1994. I think the committee should look into that, and where we can see that the disagreements were illegal, those pieces of land as well should be expropriated without compensation so that we can give space to our people to also participate in agricultural economy. That is all, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Roscoe Jacobs. I am the Deputy Branch Chairperson of the ANC in Hout Bay. I would like to start off by saying that the Group Areas Act during apartheid was land expropriation without compensation, and it was done without any consultation. But I want to thank our government here for coming and allowing us to engage on this issue. I support the amendment of Section 25 of the Constitution. We do need land to be expropriated, and we need land to be given back to people. We need land for agriculture, but we also need land for schools. We need land for integrated human settlements, because we need to stop this thing whereby colored and black African people are fighting each other. We need to be living in coexistence. We need it for safer communities and so that we can access housing. I would also like to say, while this debate is going on in my community, we are currently seeing residents actually enacting what is being discussed here today. So I think we need to also stop the rhetoric. We need to stop talking and we need to start implementing. We need to move away from talking and we need to start doing. So that is my plea, because in my community people are already expropriating land without compensation. the last point that I would like to make, and my plea to this committee, is that there needs to be a moratorium on the sale of state land. Because currently in the city of Cape Town, we see that the city in the last full council meeting has sold, or they've agreed to sell 27 pieces of land across the city, and that land could be utilized for human settlements or for economic development. So we need to ensure that state land is also not being sold to private people. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zingi Samsi. I'm staying in Atlantis. Kwindawo esibizwa intoba iVetsant eAtlantis. EAtlantis esibani sazi into yobana iCape Town yonke iphethwe iDA. Ndingu-youth leader kwicala lakwaSANTO. EAtlantis sine-problem enkulu. Umhlaba mninzi eVetsant, kodwa lo mhlaba kuthiwa ngowabantu ongasozifumane namagama abo, abantu abamhlophe. Sine-case apha eAtlantis, ndicela iDA inimamelisise kule case. EAtlantis sifumene i-shelter, akho holo, akho skolo, akho street light, there's nothing but umhlaba mninzi ukhona. EAtlantis ndithatha nge-island yaseVetsant neyihlala abantu abamnyama, because iAtlantis yona inayo yonke le nto ndithetha ngayo. Abantwana bethu funeka bayofunda emakhaladini ngapha eAtlantis. iVetsant yonke ayinazo ezi zinto. Into eyenzekayo, kuye kwakho abantu abafuna uinvesta, umkhulu construction ufuna uinvesta enze iholo ngemali yakhe eVetsant. Sihleli ke no-DA sahlala naye i-meeting singuSANTO. uSANTO ngumbutho wokuhlala ongubhayilonke. Into eyenzeka okobe bezulisa ngeleta bengafuna ukhupha ileta, aba bantu baza-investa bayahamba kule nyanga, iholo alikokhiwa, uDA yonke into uyibambile. Sinalo ngxaki ke bethu nana, umhlaba ukhona, abantu bayanda, abanye basuka komakhayelitsha baye eVetsant bafuna indawo zokuhlala, abanandawo zokuhlala bavalelekile nakomakhayelitsha babalekele eVetsant. Lithi umhlaba eVetsant kodwa sozuve kuthiwa ubani kabani ubhilonga kulo mhlaba, kumane kuzuliswa yonke imihla. Sisalinde iholo ke DA, le leta ningekafuna uyikhulula, ziyahamba i-investors akafuna ukukhulula ileta, uDA ngenxa yephethe eKapa. Umhlaba mawubuyele ebantwini bawo othina.
Coaches, allemaal my Khoi broers en sisters, ek call myself 'n warrior van die Khoi clan. Ek is een van die mense wat bereid is om dood te gaan vir die grond. Because ons gaat al die jare dood. I'd like silence, man. Ahoy.
Praat met my. Praat met my.
Yeah, okay. The thing is this. It's been hundreds of years that we are being enslaved and killed for this land. So, I support the motion. The compensation white people want, I'm confused. I think the fact that they are sitting here between us today peacefully, after what they've done to us for hundreds of years, I think that is payment enough. Because they label us as savages, criminals, warmongers, but still today, after raping us, killing us, stealing our land, taking us for slaves, they can still sit here and cry and they want money for land they killed us for. I think the only compensation white people must get is an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I think the law of Moses, if you are a Christian, or you are Rastafarian, or you are a Muslim, or you are a Khoisan, there's only one law that will work here, and that is the law of the Bible. You see, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. You think after all the blood that you shed from these people here, we must now be peaceful? No, man. A luta continua. I'm from Hout Bay, and in Hout Bay,
We're not waiting on you to make your decision. We are already taking the land. Because the land belongs to us. We are not waiting on anyone. You can come to our place. We're taking land in the mountain. We take the land by the sea. All the police can do is they send us letters to come to court. So all I can say to all of you, don't be patient no more. We've been waiting too long. Take the land. It's our land.
Thank you, sir. Settle down. Your time starts now.
Wakathombela ngihlala eMamasbury kwindawo ekuthiwa yiChatsworth kwilokishi ekuthiwa yiSilvertown ilokishi entsha efikayo apha ndime kule ndawo njengelungu lomfela ndawonye iFederation sinala mhlaba sawuthenga ebanikazini bawo ngoba urhulumente wethu wayesithi ngelaa xesha vukuzenzele sathi kuba sibancinci sancedisa abazali bethu ukuba mababethe isente abanazo bathenge laa mhlaba siwuthengile umhlaba saya kuwo sayawuhlala kuwo kuba sibona intoba aside siwufumane ngoku kunzima siyaxoxa kulaa mhlaba sizasicela isigqeba sikarhulumente singenelele kulaa kheyisi sizobe sinekheyisi yawo nge-10 eHigh Court eCape Town. Namhlanje ndime apha ndingomntana ndinguye ndime njengexhoba elilixhoba kulaa ndawo sihlala kuyo sindilekwa ngootata ababini uBongani Funiselo noFikile Mgoqi banditshisele indlu yam banditshisele ikhonteyina yam andinandawo yohlala